So as soon as I lay down the white sealer, I look down, and on the front of the fender and the bumper cover, I see all these little fisheyes, all these spots, and I'm like, huh, interesting. I did everything by the book. I sanded everything down. I degreased it with solvent and water-based degreaser. I tack clothed it off. I thought it was good to go. It was like as clean as I could realistically get it. And I spray the sealer down. In this instance, I'm using Lessenol Primer Pro, mixed 3:1:1 as a wet-on-wet sealer. And it's white specifically because these are all parts for a 2021 Honda Civic Type R in white that I'm ultimately rebuilding the whole front end of. So I look down and I see the telltale signs of a fisheye. You look at like these little spots, I guess is a good way to put it, all over this stuff. And I can see the black E-coat below it. I'm like, interesting. So I did the prep stage by the book. I followed the tech sheet verbatim. And I'm still getting these problems. I'm like, well, this is weird. What the heck caused it? I figured that out. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But in this video, I want to show exactly how to fix this without having to sand down the sealer, without having to redo everything. So you can just kind of move through the process as you normally would, but completely fix all the issues that have come about so far, all the fisheyes that are on the panels. And there's 3 simple steps I like to do this that really make everything kind of flow, so to speak. Move on without too much wasted time or without having to stop and sand everything down and start again another day because nobody's got time for that. So the reason why fisheyes happen is because there's usually a piece of contamination, something that's landed on the panel, on whatever you're working on, that has a lower surface energy than the surrounding areas. And the paint, when you get into situations with different surface energies, the paint kind of starts doing weird things and it wants to move to a different level of surface energy. And the surface energy is when you get down on a molecular level, what the actual paint is doing down there as it touches these areas. And ultimately, that's what creates fisheyes and reactions and stuff like that. And in this instance, these fisheyes they're pretty bad. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, hold on. I know what to do because I've been doing this for 20 years. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Aaron. I'm an automotive painter who's put all of my knowledge over the last 20 years or so, and I'm starting to make these YouTube videos, and I put together a little community on school.com. If you're interested in leveling up your paint game, I've put a link down below in the description in the top comment. Anyways, so in this 3-step process, the first thing I'm going to do is just look at it and go, huh, interesting. And I'm not going to grab a piece of sandpaper because the risk that you run when you grab sandpaper and you try to start sanding sealer is you have to wait for it to cure up enough to where it can be sanded. And by doing that, you kind of run the risk of getting on the ragged edge of the recoat window, which is that magical window of time that you can take and you can put another coating on top of the sealer and it's going to stick chemically. The chemical reaction is going to fuse the 2 layers together more or less. And that's ultimately what you want to keep open. You want to be able to use that recoat window because sanding everything down and recoating it just takes a lot of time. So the first thing you don't want to do is grab some sandpaper. But the first thing that you do want to do, if that makes any sort of sense, is grab the base coat. So step 1 is keep going. When you have fisheyes like this that happen in the sealer, you don't want to stop and you don't want to sand down. You want to keep going. The second thing that I'm going to do is lay down my base coat really dry over those fisheye areas. So I'm going to back the gun up an extra like 4 inches and I'm going to go a little bit faster, move my gun across where I'm spraying faster and kind of mist on some base coat. The idea being the finer the droplets and the drier the film, there's going to be less chance for that base coat to kind of suck away from the fisheyes. Now, mind you, there's still going to be fisheyes there and it's still going to look like kind of garbage, but lay down a couple coats of base coat and then just stop, walk away, go leave for like 20, 30 minutes or so. Maybe grab a snack, catch up on some YouTube videos, whatever you want to do. And then come back and you want the room to be like 70 degrees or so during this time. Ideally, the base coat is going to be completely flashed off and it's going to be to where you can run your hand on it. It's not going to have any grab to it. It's not going to want to stay stuck. Your fingers aren't going to stick to it. And then you're going to grab a soft back sanding sponge. Okay, so we've gone over the first step, which is keep going. You've laid down the base coat. The second step is you walked away. You're going to let this cure up. And the third step is grab a softback sanding sponge. I like the 800 grit. There's a bunch of different companies that make these. Norton, Carbo. The list goes on and on and on. But the principle is more or less the same. These softback sanding sponges work really great because you can take and you can put this sandpaper on the surface, and it has a nice amount of I don't know, powder. It has a nice styrene coating to it, so that you can sand with your hand. It has some rigidity to it. It's not as hard as a block where you have to risk cut-throughs, but it's not as bad as a floppy piece of sandpaper that's going to be waving all over the place. And these softback sanding sponges are meant to be used dry, so the sandpaper has a tendency to powder off really nicely. The product that you're sanding down essentially doesn't load up the paper and cause those little dingleberries or whatnot when it's stuck to the actual face of the sandpaper. So grab your sandpaper, put your nitrile gloves on, and then you're going to start sanding everything down. So what I did is I just use one hand and go over the fender, feel for dust, little imperfections, because you can sand those down too. And as you're working through this, kind of think of each fisheye as like a little mountain, pieces of dust too. Little mountains. You're not trying to cut the mountain all the way down to the ground, because if you do that, you're going to be sanding on the ground. There's a chance you might go through the base coat and the sealer, and you don't want to run into that situation. So instead, you're just trying to take the peak off the top of the mountain, kind of turn the mountain into a hill, so to speak, because the next subsequent layers of paint are going to fill in the differences, and eventually it'll kind of level out into this nice finish. So yeah, grab your 600 grit sandpaper and just sand everything down. Just kind of smooth it out. You're not going for perfect smoothness. You're just going for less of an abrupt edge, if that makes any sense. And then do that for a while. Go over all your parts and then come back with a tack cloth. You're going to have to change out your sandpaper a couple of times because it's going to load up. It's going to dull down. It's good to plan for that. Grab your tack cloth everything off a couple of times. And now you're ready to lay down more base coat. The next couple coats, do the same kind of process. Back your gun up. Go a little bit faster. Don't put down as much material over those fisheye areas. But eventually you'll see with that coarse base coat texture that they start to fill in and they start to get perfect coverage. And when you start seeing that happen, then you can wet it out more. You can put down more base coat. And this is going to be like 4 coats of base coat. In this instance, I was doing white, so it had pretty good coverage. So go over it a whole bunch more times. And by the last time, you're going to see like little impressions, maybe little divots where that fisheye used to be, but there's not going to be the fisheye anymore. You're not going to see that sealer or black e-coat or whatever's underneath coming through. And once you have full coverage over where the areas where the fisheyes were, then you can move on to clear coat. Essentially, that's covered over. It's not going to be an issue anymore. Let the base coat flash off like you normally would. Wait that 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on what your temperature is in the space that you're working in. And then grab your clear coat. In this instance, on these Type R parts, I was spraying Wanda 2100 LV. So I mixed up this clear coat, and I'm using my Black Widow 1.3 HTE gun. This is kind of one of my favorites at the moment. For under $200, I don't think there's much on the market that beats it. It really atomizes the clear coat nicely. And I talk about all the paint guns that I like to use in my Make It Match community over on school.com, where I've taken all my 20 years or so of knowledge and put it into a little community that I invite you to join. I'd love to see you over there. If you're interested, I put a link down below in the description and also pin the top comment to make it as easy as possible to find. Anyway, so I mixed up my clear coat and I start laying it down. The first coat's kind of dry. It's a tack coat. And it doesn't look phenomenal, but it doesn't look terrible either. I'm looking for like 70% coverage. So it's going to be blotchy and kind of dry. But that's the point. And then after about 10 minutes, I grab my finger and I touch a piece of masking paper that was next to the fender. And I'm just looking for it to be tacky, kind of like the back of a piece of masking paper. And when I have that tackiness, I know I'm ready to go. If it kind of like strings off, kind of like honey would, and it kind of, and you see little strings as you pull your finger away, it's not ready yet. That means you need to wait a little bit longer for the clear to cure up some more. And if it doesn't have any tack to it, if you can put your finger on it, you better hustle because you're running out of time before that clear coat closes up and it's not able to chemically adhere to the next layers. So once I have that tack coat, then I go to town. I lay down the clear nice and thick and I give it a full flowing coat. And in the end, everything turns out great. The parts look like this. The car looks like this. It turned from this complete crash damaged car to this one that is actually pretty good looking, all painted in nothing more than a walled-in carport. Anyways, that's how I avoid disaster when I get fisheyes underneath the base coat. Doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's good to know exactly how to fix things like this. And if you want to watch the whole rebuild process where I take the car all the way from the auction where I bought it through to a running and driving car, well, I put a link to the video here.